Okay, so we're stopping by Precision Concepts today. We're gonna bug them. This is Diane. Diane's the person behind Precision Concepts. She's basically the person that does just about anything that needs to be done. Probably could go in and do the suspension as well, but she leaves that to the professionals. So she's folding shirts. She basically, what do? You basically run everything from behind the scenes, right?
I'm everything up front.
Okay.
I call everybody, I greet people, I order stuff, I ship stuff.
Make everything look good. Make sure that
Yes.
Bob's doing what he should be doing.
Yes. Always making sure Bob's doing what he should be doing.
make sure that everybody's on track. And now you've been doing this for...
Maybe 20 years now.
Okay. So now you guys originally started down in San Diego, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Bob started out of the garage, and then we moved to a friend, rented us some space in his building, and then I came on. So Bob was doing it probably 8 years before I quit my job and started
doing it. Okay, so then you've been doing this for almost 20 years. You have a son, which is Robbie Bell, that has been very successful in the off-road industry and racing and all that kind of stuff. So you've raised Bob probably at the same time. And then now you guys are in a new facility. This is new within the last 6-8 months, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
June.
So now where are you guys located now?
We are at 18510 Pasadena Street, Suite A. It's right off the 74 and the 15.
Okay, and we're in Lake Elsinore, correct?
In Lake Elsinore.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna interrupt their work day and just kind of walk through the shop. Again, this is a brand new shop for them in Lake Elsinore. So this is where all the suspension, the suspension that's done goes out. That's our YZ250 that we will see in other trim later on. But they're building a YZ250 two-stroke for us. Might or might not be electric start. So we got that going on. And this is kind of the suspension area. And then you got Ryan over there making it look like he works. And then Bob is actually hands-on and doing wheels. Who are you building wheels for right now?
Yeah, Jimmy Hawley. And it's for a bike that's racing the San Felipe 250 down in Baja this coming weekend.
So now you guys you have a long lineage with Honda and Honda factory racing, and then Kawasaki and Kawasaki factory racing when it came down to that. So you've been on the factory off-road level for a really long time. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started the shop back in 1995 in June, and so we'll be 31 years, I think, in June this year. But I was getting the shop started, and I was doing suspension for guys out in District 38, Greg Bringle and Craig Smith. Johnny and Bruce came to me. They wanted a second team for Factory Honda, and they wanted those two guys. So they said, as long as you're already sponsoring them, would you build their bikes, do their suspension, whatever, and then come to Best in the Desert and score and chase them, and we'll pay the expenses. So I jumped on the opportunity, obviously, and that's where it took off at the factory. Over all the years, through 2008, we built all the factory Hondas that raced down in Baja and Best in the Desert. Then in 2009, we parted ways, and fortunately, Bruce was fighting cancer back in 2008 and into 2009, where he passed away. But he was a huge learning curve for me on chassis and suspension and everything, since he was a senior product evaluator at Honda. And so then we moved to Kawasaki, and from 2009 through 2023 we had a team and we raced Kawasaki's. So that was, everything we applied, we learned at Honda, we applied to the Kawi team, won quite a few championships. And so that was cool. And then now we're kind of on our own.
But helping out a lot of the top riders in GPC, National Hare and Hound, basically on the West Coast, helping out a lot of the top riders that are winning a lot of this stuff as well still. So you're still involved with racing, still involved with, you're not only going to build our our YZ250 project bike, but you do other project bikes. You guys are a part of other stuff that we're doing. I've been lucky enough to have them do my suspension on my race bikes for a fairly long time now. I think 2004 or something like that. So you guys are still doing all that. You're still hands-on doing all this stuff. You go to the track a lot. I see you at the track a lot.
Yeah, it's like tomorrow I'll be at Glen Helen. I got a guy, one of our guys, Colt Neck, he's got a KX500 that we did suspension for the two-stroke nationals, so we'll probably be dialing it in. I got another guy that, if you go to the track at Glen Helen, Smashburger, the guy that owns
Miguel?
that, Miguel. Yeah, I've got his suspension. We're firming it up a little bit, and I'll be testing with him. So yeah, but every week I'm at tracks, constantly testing new stuff. Yeah, we've been fortunate to have some really good pro riders. Like last year, Mason Simmons, he won the 250 Pro class in both NGPC and in Works. And then Sam Birchner, he won the 250 Pro class in National Hare and Hounds. And so far this year, they've both won almost every race they've entered. Sam just finished, or just got third overall, first 250 Pro yesterday at the National Hare and Hound up in Idaho. So he continues to just win, and we're testing with them constantly. They're both backed by Factory Husky and Factory KTM. So we're definitely still working with people, top level pros, Cole Zeller, Colt Neck.
And so you guys do suspension here, as well as it looks like you got Ryan and then Robbie Bell over there in the corner working on doing full bike stuff. So you guys aren't just a suspension shop. You do a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, we have a suspension area where we only do suspension. And we have John, who basically only does suspension. He's a solid guy that just gets it done. And then over here is where the bikes, like this one is suspension. We just took the fork and shock off to do it. And but Ryan will be, he works on all the bikes that are over here. And then he also does motors, like in this right here behind you. There's some motors, there's like 2 motors apart that are waiting for parts. And so he does that. And then Robbie mainly trains, but he comes in and helps. Like we had 2 Husqvarna project bikes that were pretty intense for a rider in Baja, that he wanted, like the bike stripped to the frame basically and rebuilt with all sorts of parts and stuff. And so Robbie came in to assist on that because it's such a big project. But he's almost got them done now, so yeah.
Well, yeah, and you guys got kind of a 1-2 punch going in the NGPC series right now with, I think, either you do the suspension on the bikes or Robbie's training the guys. So I think the last 2 or 3 250 class podiums have been a Precision Concepts, Robbie Bell, Bob Bell kind of thing going together. So it looks like you guys are doing pretty good with that too.
Oh yeah, we pretty much swept the podiums in the 250 Pro class with both of us. I mean, Robbie's training and my suspension. It's great because Robbie's also a really good tester for suspension, so he can jump on their bikes and test them out, see if I'm going the right directions and stuff. And yeah, so it's been an awesome partnership.
Ryan's kind of new to the team. They still don't know if they're going to keep him yet, but he's kind of new to the team. He's not new to working on motorcycles. He's been around for a long time working on motorcycles. So Ryan, where do you come from? I know where you come from, but what's your background?
So started at MMI, graduated in 2007, got a job at North County Yamaha, was there for about 13 years. Needed a change, and then got super lucky, got connected up with Diane and Bob, and been here for about a year now. And it's been great. Been working on our amateur rider support program as well. And so we've been helping out more of the amateur class riders for NGPC and Works and just the local stuff around here. But yeah,
to get a part of that amateur program, how do they contact you? Do they contact Bob? Do they contact Diane? Or?
It will go to Precision Concepts Sponsorship at gmail.com, and then I get the email, look it over, and then Bob and I will talk it over based on what the riders' results are, what their goals are for the next year, and then we kind of dictate and decide what kind of level of sponsorship that they can get. So
now, can it be off-road or motocross? Because you guys do everything, correct?
do everything. So yeah, it could be off-road, it could be moto, it could be hard enduro. Yeah, as long as you're racing and trying to get better, we're here to get you to that next level. Precision Concepts Sponsorship at gmail.com.
We're actually lucky enough to have Robbie as one of our test riders, and I think he's giving back the FC 450 right now. He's kind of got that to where he likes it, and so we're going to take it away from him, and then we're going to give him something else. I think we're going to give him the Beta 450, I believe it's the RC, which is the brand new off-road version. So Robbie, I was talking to your dad earlier, and he was saying that he's doing suspension for most of the 250 pros, it seems like, that end up on the podium. You have your training program going on, and I know that it's a newer thing now that you kind of got away from the race team manager position. You went from racer to race team manager to getting away from those positions to now you're full-time training guys. And I keep telling you, leave your shirt on because you got muscles coming out of everywhere. But it seems like what you're kind of putting down, those guys are kind of taken to heart, and you're making these guys finish on the podium every weekend. So what are you doing special with those guys?
I mean, that's a trade secret. But I mean, it is cool that we have kind of the whole package to offer of, my dad doing really quality suspension, and just knows the series that those guys are racing really well, and so he can get the suspension working really well for them. And then, like you said, I can jump on the bike as well and help kind of fine tune it for each guy, kind of put myself in their shoes a little bit, how they ride, how they want, like what they want from the bike. So so we can get from the handling aspect, we can just get the guys really dialed in. And then on my side, I have been through a lot of different styles of racing. So whether it's GP, even hare and hound, like I know some of what that requires. And then just in general, just kind of the ups and downs of racing, the foundational aspect from the training side, from the nutrition side. So it's just helping my guys just be as prepared as they can. And then, like going back to just having that full program to where the bike is dialed, their body's dialed, help them get their mind dialed. And I mean, it's been paying off the last few rounds. Like you said, our guys have been sweeping the podiums recently, which is it's been really cool to be a part of that and just be a part of their program. Because I mean, ultimately they're the ones that are doing it. We're just helping guide them, whether it's bike handling and performance or their body and their mind, just helping them be dialed as they can.
Well, now, and that's something pretty unique. Like there's not very many trainers that are going to get out there. I see you at the track all the time riding with the guys and doing motos with them and kind of being able to ride behind them. Even some of your guys that aren't pros, I know Carson Tryon and Harlem Nelson they do a lot with you, see them at the track, and you're able to kind of give them a racer aspect of it. You're also able to give them the trainer aspect of it, but that's a unique combination that not very many trainers are offering that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool to have that to where, like you said, I can kind of ride with them and get their flow, just how they ride the track, and maybe help them open up whether it's line selection or just how they see the track. And I mean, so much of how I try to look at my training is trying to put myself like almost in their shoes or in their boots, I guess you could say, of how they see the track, how they feel on their bike, and trying to unlock whether it's some technique or whether it's, an intensity, whether it's a mindset, just trying to pick apart for each rider what they need. I mean, that's kind of the fun part and the interesting part of being a trainer and taking it serious, but it's also like, that's the part that takes the most energy of like, what does each rider need? Because it's so unique and it's so varied. So to be able to put myself in their shoes and feel what they're feeling definitely helps.
So not just 2 wheels, you guys do 4 wheels. So basically anything with suspension you guys can handle.
Correct, yeah, yeah. If it has oil, valving, pistons, nitrogen,
you could do it, and you probably already worked on it.
Yeah, as long as seals are available still, that's usually the only holdup we will ever run into is they discontinued the seal or the shock's not supposed to be rebuildable. And even in those cases, Diane is pretty good at finding little workarounds or things you could substitute for other things. It's